Hello, CFA Nation. Gabe.
And Nick, this guy's a pro. Posting up.
Oh man, and we're here today, guys, to bring you. It's not even a review or a reaction, but it's just a discussion, a conversation on something interesting that they've done. And what we're talking about are the BBL rules that have been changed recently. Okay, now before we jump into this, I want to kind of equate this to something that recently happened in baseball. Right, they completely changed the playoff structure. They completely changed like the extra innings rules when you're in double hitter rules, and a lot of people are complaining. Surprise, surprise! All the people in the losing teams, including Yankee fans. I can't believe you guys. We would have never complained if we won the championship, but now somebody else, Dodgers, won the champion. Oh, there's got to be an asterisk on it. Shame on you, Yankee fans. Everybody started playing the game at the beginning of the season under the same rules. We all understood these were the changes, right? Okay, you wait to get to the end of the season and say, no, can't do it. This can't count as a championship. The COVID protocols, the rescheduled games, the this, the that. Stop. It just, doesn't that drive you crazy, Nick?
Oh, it definitely drives you crazy. I mean, people can have opinions that change, but the fact that you change your opinion when it doesn't suit you, it's definitely weak. It's definitely mild, right? Now, this is a request from our Patreon, Graham Kelly. Thank you, Graham, so much. We appreciate you being a Patreon. He sent some great messages. He talks about how he just loves cricket and he loves watching our videos. So he wants us to check out this article. I'm going to put the link of the article in the description box. And this is an article called Power Surges, Bash Boost, New BBL Rules Revealed. This is from Cricket Network, and this was posted on November 16th, just a few days ago. And it says KFC BBL captains and coaches are set to become more accountable for their decisions with the introduction of 3 new rules for the 10th edition of the tournament. So here are the 3 rules. Let me read them, give the description for each one, and then we'll go one at a time. Or we'll just start with the first one, the power surge. The power surge is a 2-over period during which the fielding team is allowed 2 players outside the inner fielding circle. The batting side can call for this at any point from the 11th over of their innings. The fielding restrictions replicate those of the usual power play at the beginning of an innings, which has been shortened to 4 overs. So the description kind of confusing, but my understanding of this is instead of a 6-over power play, you get 4 overs. And then you can save those 2 that you're losing after the 11th over at any time. So if you say, okay, now I'm not sure if it's back-to-back or any time, 1 you say, okay, 18th over, power play time, baby. Bring those fielders in because we need some boundaries right now. Now, Gabe, there's so much I want to talk about this, but first of all, what are your initial thoughts about this?
I hate it. I hate it. I was trying to be patient because I have the bad habit of interrupting you. And listen, forget about and Nick does never give me a hard time. Nick is so humble, but my own wife and kids like, Dad, let him get his thoughts out. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? A whole bunch of people that are on Team Gabe were like, yo, let Nick get. I was patient, but I hate it. This is another example of trying to make it a more offensive game and put the bowler at a disadvantage, okay? You set your bowling strategically so that okay, these are going to be my guys in the power play. These are the guys that I need to get my wickets. Again, I'm talking IPL here, but you know who are your guys that are going to get your wickets in the IPL, and it's just saying, okay, I'm going to save those 2 power plays for when your best bowlers overs are done, and then I'm going to throw them out there. It's just another advantage for the offense. I hate it. Why must we have so many points in every single game? Why? Football, American football, they make it to, you braid the pass interference. You breathed on him the wrong way. He's got a hangnail. Flag, pass interference in basketball. These soft players in this generation get more free throws. Bro, James Harden scored 44 points one time. Are you ready for this, bro? 27 free throws. I could score 44 points if you give me 27 free throws. I probably couldn't, but still.
Not even a little bit.
No. James Harden with his Euro step. I hate the Euro step.
Okay, let me tell you before you go off on a tangent to the moon here. Let me give you my thought about this, okay? Surprise, surprise, I disagree with you. The reason why I like this rule now, as a fan of cricket, I don't want the game to be changed. But I mean, we're talking about the Big Bash League. And the reason why I point that out is this is not international cricket. You're not going to mess with the international game. We don't want to mess with the international game, okay? I like these smarts, like these whatever they're called, IPL, CPL, BBL, PSL. I have no problem with them switching some things to make it more entertaining and more exciting. But this is why I like it. It's not about the offense, right? It's about the strategy. It's the fact that now it's a more strategic game. It's a more strategic T20 match because, first of all, you do get an advantage on the bowling side because now you have only 4 overs in the power play you have to attack. You can get your 2 best bowlers back to back to back to back. Boom. You get that new ball. You can keep that power play very, very minimal with those 2 best bowlers. And you still have both those bowlers that can have 2 overs saved for the power play, right? That comes in later on, right? So you have that strategic side. How am I going to do it? If we have our best bowler, and I don't know a lot of the bowlers in the Big Bash League, so I'm sorry. But if we have, let's say a Sam's, I know that name. I know you can't stand Sam's, but we have Sam's, right? And if he's one of our best bowlers, I have him go 1 and 3, and then I'm saving him until they call for the extra over. Now, as a batsman side, it is exciting to be able to get a power play and a death over all in one, right? Power play and death over. Now, if it was me, if I was a coach, I would automatically save it for the 19th and 20th if I am chasing. Why? Because if my team needs some desperate 4s and 6s, especially 4s, come into that chase, and we need 30 off 12 or whatever it is, I am so glad I have those 2 power plays that I saved those overs at the end of the match so I can use them and hopefully chase. Not just that. If I'm a fan of the bowling side, I am just so stressed out because they have their power play overs. Not just that, but these like challenges in football. If you waste them early, you really wish you could have had them later on. So I see advantages for both sides. You're right. It's more the batting side, but I just love the strategy of it. I love how these coaches and these players now have to be more strategic because of this rule.
I couldn't disagree with you more. It only benefits the offense, okay? You're thinking, oh, because in the beginning, they only have to go through the first 2 overs. Fine. Here's the problem, okay? Who's going to declare, of course, first? The other team. They're going to declare when they know you've gone through those bowlers. Through those top bowlers. When they've got 3 overs already in the books, you're not going to burn a 4th on them right now. You need them as a death over specialist. And you know who they're going to attack? Weak spinners. You know who they're going to attack? I would already attack it this way. Oh, who's coming up? Oh, yes. Yum, 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 yum. Delicioso. What? So-and-so's coming up. He who shall remain nameless. Oh, Udicat's coming up. Oh, let's use this power play right now and destroy him.
I don't think Udicat's in the Big Bash League.
Drives me crazy.
But this is the thing. This is the only I think I can understand is it can't be a surprise. So I'm assuming that the batting side has to say we're going to use our super, whatever it's called, the extra boost, power boost or whatever. And then the bowling side gets a chance to say, okay, you're doing the power boost. Now we're going to bring in this guy who's our best bowler.
Did you read that in the rules there? No. I guarantee you it's going to be a
no.
It's going to be
like in baseball, right? When they announce the batter, then the coach changes the pitcher, right? It's got to be fair for both sides. I'm telling you. Stop.
Well, even that in baseball, now you got to face 3 as a reliever. You got to face 3 batters, so they can't bring in for lefty righty anymore. Every sport is doing this. I get it. It's frustrating. Runs, but you're putting the defense at such a disadvantage. It drives me absolutely crazy. It does. So frustrating.
No one cares about the defense. All right. So here comes a rule that I do not get, and I'm saying right now I do not like. This is the XFactor player. Named as either the 12th or 13th player on the team sheet, can come into the game beyond the 10th over of the first innings and replace any player who is yet to bat or has bowled no more than 1 over. Oh. I might just not understand this rule at all because I'm thinking to myself, what is the point? What is the point? You have defensive replacements for injuries or whatever if you need to use that. Why would I start, say, a Glenn Maxwell? And and you wouldn't do this to Glenn Maxwell. Let's just say a Glenn Maxwell, we start him and he's in the field, right? He's in the field for crying out loud. And the 12th over comes, no, we're going to replace Glenn Maxwell for someone else. We're going to use our XFactor. Why? What have you seen in the field that's going to I just don't understand this rule whatsoever. And it says right here, they came beyond the 10th over of the first innings and we could place any batter who is yet to bat. Talking about an offensive side, why would I want to replace that unless maybe what I'm not thinking about is a bowling aspect. My bowlers are suffering. I got my 13th or 12th guy. He's a decent bowler. I don't care about batting right now because our bowlers are getting lit up and we need to save some runs and stop the bleeding. Maybe that's why it's being used. But other than that, I'm not a big fan of the rule.
Well, the one thing that's missing in the rule, but this is how I'm interpreting, you can carry any 12th or 13th player, which means, for instance, in a situation where in the BBL, right, we only have, I want to say it's 3. I want to say they went from 2 to 3 international players, right? So if you already got your 3 international players, you can't, even as a replacement, you can't carry those guys on the bench. They just can't play that game. Well, if it's any player, and that's what I read there, any player, they might be able to carry that 4th international player so that, oh, this guy's not playing well, or he got lit up his first over, let's put him in. Or this guy got injured, this is a really good player we have, let's put him in. Why am I saying that? Because the Melbourne Stars, who I'm so leaning towards, Melbourne Stars right now just all smash their computers. No! But they've got a lot of international players, and I'm starting to feel like CSK. Like, okay, they just got Nicholas Perron the other day. They've got a couple English players on there. I can't remember. You can't play more than 3. So why carry 5, 6 of these guys, right? And now I'm like, well, maybe you can carry a 4th as a replacement on the bench in case we have an injury. We've seen a lot of injuries, or in case it's one of the situation like, oh my gosh, he just went and got lit up like a Christmas tree. No. What? He got Udicatted? He gave up 24 in that over? Let's bring somebody else in.
I just think it's a dumb rule because you're too hasty with this. I mean, what are you going to see with them in the field to be like, oh no, he's not going to hit well today. He's not going to bat. He's out of here. Or, okay, let's say he got lit up his first one. He gave up 13 or 14. Doesn't mean he's going to get lit up his other over. I mean, I don't like it because I'm about patience. I'm about, let's see what happens. Let's let these players get a chance. Now you're going to put more pressure on these guys because if I'm not a superstar and you put me in there and I know I'm on notice, if I have one bad over, you can take me out. Like I don't like it. I mean, how many times did I get destroyed by saying, oh, this game's over and it wasn't over? You can't make that judgment call so early on. I'm not a big fan of it. I see what you're saying. I'm not a big fan. Let's go to rule number 3. And as always, guys, please let us know in the comment section your opinion of each rule, please. The Bash Boost. You want to read this one, Gabe? I'm not sure if you have the article pulled up.
I do have it. And right. The Bash Boost. The Bash Boost will be a bonus point awarded halfway through the second innings. The team chasing will receive the bonus point. Surprise, surprise. You want to go ahead and make it a more offensive game. Oh my gosh. That's not in the article, guys. I'm just, venting right here. But anyway, receive the bonus point if they're above the equivalent 10 over score of their opposition. While if they're trailing, the fielding side will receive the point. Teams will also now be awarded 3 points for winning the match as opposed to the traditional 2. So, 3 rules so far, guys. 2 of them all for the offense. How about this? Why don't you give me an extra over? Okay, instead of letting me bowl 4 overs, can I bowl 5 maybe? You know what I'm saying? So we could only go with maybe 4 bowlers. How about showing the bowling and the defense a little bit of love? For the love of Pete, just keep stacking the deck. Is this Vegas? The views of Gabe's views are not the views of CSA. Any views that Gabe or opinions Gabe expresses on this are solely his opinion. Do not come after CFA Vegas. Another rule, favoring the offense. I mean, come on.
And so my understanding is this is not a point in the match. This is a point in the standings, right? That's what they're talking about, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you get 3 points for a win, which is crazy. 3 points for a win. I'm assuming, that's just crazy. I don't know why you go from 2 to 3. I have no idea. 3 points for a win, and then an extra point if you are on the beneficial side of the Bash Boost. So does that mean a winning team could get 4 points? Or is the most they can get 3 points if they get that extra Bash boost?
Well, it says will be a bonus point awarded halfway through the second innings. So I think only the second part is at the end. The other point is actually in the innings. So halfway through the second innings, the chasing team will receive the point if they're above the equivalent 10 over score of their opposition. You know what? I don't understand this rule.
So I think what it's saying is, let's say my team scored 88 in the first 10 overs. Okay, now your team is chasing me. And my total, let's say it's 160. We had 88 in the first 10 overs. Your team's chasing. If they get over 88 in the first 10 overs, you get the extra point. If you come below the 88 in the first 10, your first 10 overs, I get the extra point. So does that mean, just that the 3 points is what's confusing me. So let's say your team wins, but I get that extra bash point. Does that mean that you get 3 points for the win and I get 1 point because of the extra point, the bash boost? Or do you get 2 points for the win, but I get 1 because of the bash boost? Now in hockey, in the NHL, they have this rule where you get 2 points for a win, but you get 1 point if you just push it to overtime. If you push it to overtime and you still lose, whatever, but you get 1 point just for getting to overtime, you get no points for a loss. But if you lose in overtime, you get a point in the standings, and it makes a big difference when it comes to the playoff. My thing I don't understand is about do I get 3 for the win and then a possible 4 for getting that bash boost? Or do I get 2 for the win and a possible 3 for that bash boost?
No, I just scrolled down further in the article and it explains that you're right. This is all about the standings. So 4 points are available total per match, 3 for the win and then 1 point for the bash boost.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's right there. Yeah.
3-1. That makes sense. This is all about standings, all right? Which, you know what? I kind of get it because this is maybe one rule I am on board, and I'll tell you why. I was so upset this year because so many teams, I mean, in the IPL, it was so competitive that really it came down to run rate. And run rate drives me crazy. You know what I mean, bro? Everybody used to say, oh, the run rate doesn't matter. Maybe it don't matter in tests, but it matters here, right? And
vindication.
Look at the vindication. I imagine you saying that when at the very end of the season, RCB got in with the same record as 3 other teams, but it was because of run rate. Nick must have been running around the house like, oh yeah, vindicated.
I'm just saying, when we first started watching tests, why would you show me the run rate if it doesn't matter? I knew it had a place somewhere. But this is the thing, and it's interesting. You said Melbourne Stars. There's a guy from the Melbourne Stars who was hired by them who's actually saying, let's see, Woodhill, the Melbourne Stars women's Big Bash League coach, said we need innovation because people like change, but I think these changes will actually improve the game itself. It puts the coaches and the players on their feet and forces them to think a little more, and that's what I love about the strategic part. The bash boost I have. That's what it's called, right? The bash, these names, for crying out loud. The bash boost, I actually like that rule because, like you said, if my team just keeps losing by a few runs or a few wickets every single match, but I get that bash boost every time, at least we got some kind of moral victory. Yeah, they got 3 points, but we at least got that 4th point. And I'm telling you, that's going to play a huge role in the final standings, a huge role. Where what if a team needs desperately to win a match, but not only do they need to win a match, but they need to get the bash boost. They need to get 4 points to get to the playoffs. And you got a team playing spoiler. We're like, guys, let's just score all our runs in the first 10. I mean, that's going to be exciting. I like that rule. I like that rule a lot. Of these 3 rules, I do not like the XFactor rule, but I like the other 2. One for strategic reasons, and one because it's just going to mess everything up.
You know, here's another thing. Talking about run rule and how things happen. And we were talking about how in that very last game, it came down not just to the game, but to the run rule itself, right? Luckily, both teams were in it. How about if one of those teams weren't in it? And let's say it was KKR trying to get in, right, on run rule. And the team that has KKR's destiny in their hands are Mumbai Indians. We all know the history there, guys. Guys, think about this. Personal feelings I'm not saying that anybody's fixing the game, but could I say, hey, we're out of it anyway? So maybe I sit my best players, I rest them because I don't want them getting injured. Maybe I throw my worst bowlers out there because I don't care. I want this other team to beat us by a whole bunch. We're going to lose anyway. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. My team can't get in, but I could keep team XYZ from getting in. You know what I'm saying, Nick? And people say, no, that kind of stuff doesn't happen in sports. What? The Clippers. You remember the trade that was it the Lakers or the Clippers that was going to send CP3 to your Lakers? I think it was.
We got screwed,
and it got beat. Nobody could justify why, other than everybody else was upset in the league. Do you think these owners aren't in their feelings about it? people, we are all human beings, and we all have our weaknesses. We all have our fallacies. If it's me and Nick, okay, and we are both team owners, Nick needs just this game to happen, and he doesn't need my team to win, but he needs them to make sure they don't get blown up. I'm out of it already. I don't want to see Nick's team going to the playoffs. You know what, Coach? Why don't you go ahead and sit down our 4 top players? We're resting them. You gonna tell me that doesn't happen in sports? Stop it! You haven't watched sports for long enough, guys. I will tell you what. This is a very smart rule.
Misery loves company. Now, as I'm thinking more about the X factor, let's say that Team A is bowling first, right? And the other team who's batting first, they get like 200 runs. They just blow it up. Okay. And I have my team configured where my batsmen, they need a little more time to get settled before they can start scoring some runs, but they have a chance of being in there for the long haul. I may use the X factor for one of those batsmen that's not a bowler who only bowled 1 over maybe. And I might say, you're out. And this guy, like a Chris Gale, universe boss, you're in. We need you to bash some 6s for us because we need to score runs. And not only that, but we're going to put Chris Gale in at 4 or 5. I don't think he's playing the Big Bash, but I wish he would. We're going to put Chris Gale in the 4 or 5 spot, and we're going to make sure that we utilize him with our 2 extra overs, 2 extra power play overs. I mean, you can really put this together, and you can use all those rules to your advantage. And not just that, but you can say, listen, we're getting smoked, but we're going to get that bash boost. So we're going to bring it. We're going to replace this guy. We're just going to go for broke right now, and we're going to get to at least a bazillion runs in the first 10 overs. And then you get those runs. We got to get there at the end. If I'm losing the war, I'm not going to lose the battle. I'm going to get some points here. So I can see how you can put all these together to get yourself some kind. What it does assure for the fans, though, it assures that nothing is going to be decided until you watch the entire match. I don't care what the first team did. You've got to watch the entire match to see the drama that's going to unfold, to see what's going to happen. And that could enhance the viewing experience. But this will be our first year going to the Big Bash. For you guys, what do you think? Is this going to ruin the league that you love so much? If you're a huge fan, do you hate these rules? Does anyone like these rules? Do you agree with any of the thoughts that we have here? Gabe, final thoughts.
You just admitted it yourself, man. It's all to do what? Score more points and more runs. Once again, another offensive rules. They're all about offense. Everyone hates defense. You know what? Why does defense even show up? Okay, why does this defense even show up? Now, of course, guys, I'm more partial because my kids play defense right now. It plays like one of the top corners in the league right now in Vegas. But I'm telling you, it's so frustrating. It's like, can we get some rules for defense? Look at the NBA. Look at NBA scores, Nick, in the 80s and 90s. They were like, man, if you got to 160, 170, that was high. Oh my gosh, high scoring games. They're both in the 90s. Now, bro, I watch games with both teams are $120, 110, 118. What?
And why do they give these rules to favor the offense? Why? What's the ultimate reason? Exactly. The viewers lose interest. And I'm talking about Americans right now. We lose interest way too soon if we have an 85-75 NBA match and it's not a summer league, whatever stuff's called. They lose interest. It's all about the money. Look at the research, guys. Look at this, the data. It proves it. People, especially Americans, they love those high-scoring games, those high-scoring matches. There are some defensive purists like Gabe out there, but they're a dying breed. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much, Graham, for this request. And hopefully next time I won't be wearing a tie and all fancy like. But until next time.
That's 6 runs.